And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren, for whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
So whoever does the will of the Most High is your brother, your sister, your mother, your father. So if they are not doing the will of the Most High, which is keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments and the faith of the Messiah, they should not be your leader.
That's right.
That's what the Bible is telling you. You do not vote for anyone that the Most High God did not put in place. He put these men in place for the destruction that's soon to come. Every time you voted for them, you agreed to the destruction that they brought. You voted for Biden, you wanted the migrants to come in.
That's right.
Right? Give me Nahum 3 and 13. Right? So another thing that's happening in this world is they're doing something I want to call, let's call political blackface. But what I mean by political blackface, as the country is falling apart, notice all of a sudden black people are getting positions high in government. Because when the country falls, they want everyone to look at us as the blame and again hide their hand. Right? So Nahum 3 and 13.
Reading out of the book of Nahum, chapter 3 and verse 13. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women.
So the people in the midst of us are women, meaning our center, what we stand on, right? So if women is our center and we're protection and women are the center, we're in trouble. Because they're not protection for the world. We are, right?
That's right.
Go ahead.
The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies.
The gates of our land is set wide open to our enemies. Press secretary, right? We got Letitia James. We got the congresswoman that said we need more migrants in Brooklyn. All the people in the forefront right now are women, right? So he said the people in the midst of thee are women, right? And our gates are wide open for the enemy. The migrants are coming in. They're literally asking more to come in. They weren't checked. We didn't see if they had a criminal record or anything, right? You're watching your replacements coming because that congresswoman in Brooklyn said, I need them for rezoning. And notice they're coming to your neighborhood where you live. We're being replaced, right? So that old fight against us, the old white and black, has never ended. It just changed forms. Is it more than that?
The fire shall devour.
Oh yeah, come.
The fire shall devour thy bars.
So that protection that we think we have is gone. That fire is going to come in and devour our bars. We are in trouble. You voted for this, right? I'm saying you because I don't vote. You voted for this. You wanted this to happen, whether you realize it or not. You made an allegiance. You made it a covenant that this man that's in office is going to take care of you and do all things for you. So now this is the end result of it. So now that these people are coming in, you have to now turn to the Most High because you're not going to have a choice anymore. Just think about, I want you to think about this for a second, right? Feel the cold that's happening right now. Feel that. Now imagine going to your house thinking you're going to escape it and they create a rolling blackout. There's no electricity, there's no heat. Now you're freezing inside and the government's going to tell you, oh, well, we needed to do that for you. We're doing you a favor. And another, you know what? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 43. Let's stay on this immigrant thing. I don't want to lose that. Because they're all coming in, right? Did you get a check for $3,000?
No.
No? Did somebody pay your rent?
No.
Did somebody give you a free phone?
No.
Is somebody giving you room and board?
No.
But these people coming in are receiving all of it. It is in the Bible. What does it say in Deuteronomy 28 and 43?
Reading out of the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
So the stranger that has come into the country has gotten above us very high. Go ahead.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And now we're going to the bottom. We're being rezoned. Go ahead.
He shall lend to thee.
He has money.
And thou shalt not lend to him.
And we have nothing. Go ahead.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
So he's just coming here and has money for rent, has a phone, can get a job as a police officer with no criminal record being checked. He came in, he's the head, we're the tail. We're being rezoned, we're being pushed to the side. We are being replaced. Once upon a time, we would have defended them coming in
Right.
because of the white man. But we notice now we're not doing it no more because we're starting to realize, you know what? You don't have our best interest in mind. You should have figured this out a long time ago. Name, if anybody that voted for a president, name one president that's been in office and black people have done better as a whole. Don't give me, oh, I got an extra $50 on my check. Name one. Nobody. It's been this way since the beginning. The system was set up from the beginning to fail. It is collapsing on itself, and unless we get our insurance, which is this book, which is the law, statutes, and commandments, and the faith of Messiah, we have nothing.
That's right.
We have absolutely nothing. They're showing us that we have nothing. They're literally removing everything from us and giving it to someone else. And your response to that is to vote for somebody else that's going to do the same thing but slower, or is going to say it a little differently. I'm not going to bring in migrants, I'm going to take in migrants. Look, go ahead. What you got?
America is basically a capitalist, so Republicans or Democrats, they can only be capitalists.
Right. They're capitalists. That's what it's about. It's about money. And like the brother said before, all things lead to Rome. When you look at the government buildings, right, they have on them what are called columns. Columns represent the body of a man. The top of the column is called the cap. If you look at the cap and you look at the different designs, you can tell what time period of Rome that it's talking about, whether it's Tuscan, so on and so forth. So capitalists, the head, where the money comes from. This is what's happening. This is Rome, right? The laws, when you go into a court, the laws are in Latin. When you study biology, the words are in Latin, right? This is all a Roman system. And in that Roman system, we were slaves, and we were slaves here. Except now they're playing word games. And speaking of word games, right? You hear people say on Twitter and all these other places like, oh, you know, yo, you gotta be careful. Yo, English, you know what I'm saying? It's a spell. Kind of. Because you're looking too deep into it, right? So you can't say hello because that means hell is low. Come on, that's the 90s. Come on with that grand rock. That's not going to change anything. You still speak English. You're missing the simplicity of the game. A lot of words in English aren't English words. They're foreign words that have not been translated, and we're using them and not knowing what they mean. For instance, right? Let's deal with Beyonce. Beyonce had a song called what? I'm a diva, right? When you go to Sanskrit, you have the word deva. Deva is a male god, right? A male god or shining demon. Devi is a female demon. So when she sing I'm a diva, you're incarnating in yourself a demon, right? She had a song called, what is it? I Want a Soldier back in the days. What was the criteria of this soldier? He had to have a scar on his face. He was stealing and robbing people, right? That's a soldier. What is that called today? That's called a thug. In Sanskrit, it's called thuggy. The thuggies were a group of people who would rob, steal, and murder as a cult and give their sacrifices to their god. So now you're a diva who wants a thug. You starting to see the picture? Right? Now, who do the thugs worry about all the time? Their enemies, right? And what do they call their enemies? Ops. Ops. Janus, the god of January. Sun is Saturn. His wife is Ops. So not only are you a diva and a thug, you got the ops to worry about. You're calling them gods that you don't even know about. That's the spell in English. Not the language itself, but it's the words that haven't been translated and used against you, and you don't even know the meaning, and you're calling on these gods on a regular basis. That's a diva. That's a thug. That's what ops is. And you use this on a regular basis and have no idea what's going on. Right. You're manifesting your destruction and don't realize it. You're a Christian, but you're a diva. You're a Christian, but you're a thug. You're a Christian, but you're worried about ops. How you worried about ops, right? All of these things are against you. Now, Beyonce, right? Let's go back to her. Old English, Baal means bee. So now, emace. Emace is the word. It means swarm. So Beyonce, BMS, means swarm of bees. That's why she's called Queen Bee or Queen Bee. And you heard that with Little Kim also. So you're being indoctrinated in witchcraft, masonry, and all these things with this language. So it's not so much speaking English, it's the words that you don't understand that are being pulled, the wool's being pulled over, and you hear it in hip hop and all these songs, and you're bringing it on to yourself. He's going to say something?
Her fan club is known as the Beehive.
Right, her fan club is the Beehive, so her name itself describes what it is. Right, go ahead.
It's specifically being directed to our people.
Exactly. All of that's directed to our people. Another thing we don't know about, right? All of this stuff makes us devoid of the Most High, right? So we said we got divas, we got thugs, and we got to worry about the ops, right? And where do the people live that live this lifestyle? In the ghetto. What is a ghetto? The ghetto, when you get a divorce, it's called a get, right? So get means to separate or separate. So the ghetto is the separation from what? From God. It's a separation of the Jews in a specific area. That's because the origin of ghetto is what happened with the Jews. So how is it that we black people are separated from society amongst ourselves, got all these things going on? We're in the ghetto because we're the Jews of the Bible.
That's right.
That's what they're hiding from you, right? So now we're the Jews, right? We're in the ghetto. We're in the slums with thugs, with divas, with all of this stuff. We worried about ops. And we play games for money, right? There was a game called CeeLo, right? CeeLo was what? 4, 5, 6. It's not only in America that game was played. Please know that. 4, 5, 6, right? So if we had a number to choose for God, what number will we use? 7. So 4, 5, 6 is what? Without God, right? How many dice do you use in CeeLo? 3. How many sides on the dice? 3 sixes without God, right? CeeLo in the ghetto with your ops and thuggy and divas, right? So prior to that, we had a game called, what was that? Craps, right? You crap out all day, right? The only time you win is when you get what number? 7. When you're in line with God. But when you lose, you what? Snake out. The 2 eyes. You see, again, everything's a spell that's been done on us. So it's not just the language. You got to realize the lingo and the things we do, and that was placed on us. That's a regular behavior. That's what's keeping us trapped. That's what's keeping us spiritually blind. The things that we do, we help incarnate the wickedness and the devil around us, right? So we have to get back to this book. We have to get back to the law, statutes, and commandments and the faith. That's going to bring us out of that mindset that we're trapped in the ghetto, right? The ghettos and slums. Remember that anytime you hear the word ghetto, think Jew, because they're talking about you. And notice everywhere we go, aren't the Jews right by us?
That's right. That's right.
Aren't they the landlords? What is it about us that you stay right next to us, right? We're the ones that's ghetto fabulous. The ghetto is synonymous with black people, but it's Jews in definition. That should tell you something. They're hiding the truth in plain sight. Sir, watch that bus, please. They're hiding the truth in plain sight, and you have to see that, right? So let me get back to some more scripture.
That was good.
Give me 1 Samuel 8. We're dealing with voting again, right? I think 1 Samuel 8. Yeah, Khan.
I think that's 8.
Yeah, it's 1 Samuel 8, right? And that was funny because I think it was Deuteronomy 17 and 14 when he talks about when you're going to ask for a king.
7 and 8.
Anyway, really, you can start at 1.
Well, all of us and everything, everybody. Samuel hearkened unto the voice of the people.
Yeah, that's
right. So we spoke about that, right? You should not have a ruler over you that is not your brother, right? That the Lord God didn't choose. But we chose Biden, we chose Trump, we chose all these presidents, right? And the Lord God said what? Actually, go ahead and read that.
Reading out of the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 8 and verse 7. 6? Okay. Verse 6. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Most High. And the Most High said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people and all that they say unto thee.
Right, so they wanted a God. You're like, you know what, man, we just like everybody else, man. Put somebody above us, man. Put somebody in charge of us like all the other nations. And the thing upset Samuel, who was the prophet. But the Lord said, you know what? hearken to their voice. Listen to what they said and give them exactly what they want. You want Biden? Give them Biden. You want Trump? Give them Trump. This is what the Lord said. Go ahead.
For they have not rejected thee.
So you're not rejecting us when you don't care what we say. Go ahead.
But they have rejected me.
You reject God. You don't reject us. So I might feel something, but I got to think about it. No, I'm reading his message. You're rejecting him. Go ahead.
That I should not reign over them.
That I should not reign over them. So when you choose these men to be your rulers, you are saying clearly, I don't want God to rule over me. Because the moment something goes wrong, you don't pray, you vote for somebody else. If Republicans will worth their weight, right, and they see Biden is destroying the world, what do you think they should be doing right now? Name a Republican that's doing something to stop what Biden is doing. Not getting on TV and talking about it, actually doing something. So you mean to tell me he's destroying America, the economy's coming down and everything else, and they go, ooh, just wait a couple of months, I'm gonna write something down and I'm gonna be the next person. Really? Somebody's destroying your family and you're gonna write something? You're gonna wait for somebody to vote for you to do something? No, you go in and stop it. So the fact that they're not going in and stopping anything tells you they're on the same side, right? Exactly, they're running the bunkers. And speaking of bunkers, right, you had Oprah, right? Now the whole thing going on with Oprah, right? What's Oprah's company's name? It's her name backwards. Harpo, right? Let me show you what goes on in Hollywood. So Harpo, right, when you go back to Greece, there's a god called Hippocrates. Hippocrates was a god. It was basically a statue of a young boy with his finger in front of his mouth, like he's holding a secret. That's what you see the celebrities do. That's those pedophiles and everything else. But stupid, it's actually Horus, the Egyptian, is just a rendition of a young boy, but the Greeks were like, oof, let's use that as a secret. Because they like children and homosexuality, right? That's why it's prevalent in Hollywood. So Harpo, Hippocrates. Remember that and look that up. But read that last precept again, and could you go to Luke 19, if you can get that? You know,
I was thinking.
Yeah. So again, 1 Samuel, I think you were 8, the last, yeah. So again, this is what happens. So the Lord said, hearken unto the people and give them exactly who they want. So if you want a corrupt president, the God is going to give it to you because you're choosing him over God. Go ahead.
Reading out of the book of 1 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 7. And the Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people, and all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them.
Remember those words. They rejected me so that I should not reign over them. When you choose a president, when you choose a leader that's not your brother, does not keep the will of the Most High God, you didn't reject him, you rejected the Father. That he should not reign over you. That the Son, his Messiah, should not reign over you. You got that?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 27. But those mine enemies.
So this is Christ speaking, right? About the people that are serving him. He said, those mine enemies, go ahead.
Which would not that I should reign over them.
Notice the words Christ said, that I should not reign over them.
Bring hither and slay them before me.
So Christ said, if you don't want me to reign over you, bring them over here in front of me and kill them in front of me. This is Christ, whom you say you believe in. This is what happened in the Old Testament. This is why you're constantly warned to read the Old Testament, because if you don't know what happened then, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. When you go to John 5, 46 and 47, right? Could you give me that real quick? Whoever can get that.
Which one do you want?
John 5, I think it's 46, 47. Right, this is why you have to read. It is a Bible. You notice it's an entire book. It's not just half a book. Because if you really don't want that, go home, go to Malachi, and just tear that half of the book out. Because that's basically what you do, right? Go ahead.
Reading out of the book of John, chapter 5 and verse 46. For had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me.
Right. So this is what Christ's saying. For if you believe Moses, you would believe me. Because at first, oh, that's Moses' law. But what did he say? If you believe Moses, you would believe me. Go ahead.
For he wrote of me.
Oh, wait. So everything Moses was talking about was about Christ. Go ahead.
But if ye believe not his writings,
If you don't believe the Old Testament,
how shall ye believe my words?
you won't believe the New Testament. So if you don't believe the Old Testament, there's no way you understand the New Testament, because Christ just told you that. So who are you to say, oh, I don't have to read the Old Testament? You're a fool. And your pastor's a bigger fool than you are. And both of y'all are going to go to hell together.
That's right.
You have to read the Old Testament in order to understand the New. That's where the law is laid down. When you understand what the law says, no one can trick you with the Bible, because that's your foundation. Once your foundation is set, you know when a pastor's lying. You know when a preacher's lying. You can't be fooled by them. But if you don't know the laws, what's going to happen? Chaos, right? Lawlessness happens, right? What is it? A city without walls, basically. So a city without walls can't be defended, correct? So at the same sense, a spirit without laws cannot defend off wickedness. Those wicked spirits are able to come in and out of you as they please, because there's no wall or laws backwards protecting you from them. You have no understanding, so therefore you attack counsel. Don't get me wrong, we're attacked, but we know who to pray to. Right. We know the laws. They're not going to sit there and tell us, oh, just read it this way and we're going to fall for it. It doesn't work like that, right? And those of you who are supposed to get, what's the word? Raptured? They're supposed to get raptured, right? Do understand, when you're brought out of here, if you're brought out of here, you're going to be tested again. Because when the Israelites were brought out of Egypt into the wilderness, they were tested. They were tried to see if they were worthy. You don't just get to go with your king. He has to try you again. Did not Christ go into the wilderness and the devil tempted him? And we have to walk like Christ walked, right? So if he went to the wilderness to get tested, guess where you're going? To the wilderness to get tested. You're not getting a free ride. Nobody is. Right? So you might want to read this word and understand what it's telling you. And do know the devil knows the Bible, and don't let your pastor tell you that's us just because we know the Bible, right? We're trying to give you what you need. You got something?
I was trying to see the wilderness. I forgot where it is.
But the wilderness is. Exodus, Ezekiel's all over the place. But let me wrap this up. And let me tell you this. This is the day and age where they said they will not endure sound doctrine. Right. All over social media, you have these
bug outs.
Yeah, bug outs. There's nothing else to call them. Bug outs, because they're sitting there, they read 2 scriptures and all of a sudden they're a pastor. They read 3 scriptures and they just come up and they can teach you everything about the Bible. No, they don't know sound doctrine. They don't even read the book. They don't understand the book. They don't understand what they're saying. But they're on there because they have a platform. You believe them. And because they have a platform, they're on TV or they're on social media, you give them your attention. And that's wrong. No man should be able to come up in a church and not open that Bible. That's right. And not teach from it. Right. Mister, have you ever been swallowed? No. Come on. You see, this is the end result of people that don't read the Bible. He can walk around floating, swallow, and you sit there and listen to him. How? And then you talk, and then you don't want him to be judged. And he's sending you to hell. You don't want him to be judged. And you got that other pastor asking, how many people did you save last night? You didn't save any. What's his name? William Murphy. And you did, what's the song he had in the church?
Walk it out.
Walk it out.
You gotta work the prophecy. You gotta work the prophecy. Come on, look at him again. Say, you gotta work the prophecy. You gotta work. This year, you gotta stand up. You gotta walk it out. That's how we going out of here tonight. Look at your neighbor and say, walk it out. They trying to act like they don't know what you're referring to. Look at them and tell them, walk it out.
Hey, Now walk it out. 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 DJ Westside walk it out. DJ Southside walk it out. We inside walk it out. Northside walk it out. We go. Now walk it out. 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 Now Westside walk it out. Southside walk it out. Eastside walk it out. Northside walk it out. Hey, bend your back low. You do it with no hands. Now stop popping.
Y'all too saved for me.
Walk it out in the church. He was on what's that? There's that talk show with the Brat and all the other ones.
Yeah, I forgot the name. View?
Not The View. It's something like that. Anyway, he was on that show, right? And he was talking about his sermon. Yeah, you know that came to me by the Spirit. Told him walk it out, right? The gay man on that show said, I didn't like that sermon. They said, why? He said, because that wasn't spiritual to me. When a gay man tells a pastor what you did was wrong, the earth is finished.
Right.
Everything is finished.
Right.
He sat there and discussed, like, what the hell is wrong with you? And he defended himself, and so did the Brat and everybody else. So this is the world we're living in today. No one's enduring sound doctrine.
Right.
When a man who's living in sin can see the sin in someone else and call it out, we're in a bad place. That's a final warning right there.
Right.
That man was warned by a gay man that you are not doing the will of God.
That's right.
That's a bad place to be in as a pastor.
Right.
On that, I'm going to just say Shalom and
Shalom.